Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Just Say Guay. I'm your host, George Guay. Today, I'm joined by Zach Benson of the Winnipeg Ice, who's also a highly ranked prospect for next year's NHL Draft. Zach, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so how's everything been, man? I know you just had a great season with the Winnipeg Ice. It seems like things are normal now in hockey and in the world, especially Canada. You saw some of your teammates just get drafted. What's this all been like?
Yeah, obviously, the season was lots of fun. We had a great team in Winnipeg. It ended shorter than we wanted it to, but it was a great learning experience for everyone. And now that I'm back home, summers treat me well. We've been training out in Burnaby, and then obviously having three players go in the draft, Sav, Geeks, and Milner. It's pretty cool to see. They're all great dudes, and obviously their skill is through the roof. But off the ice, they're all great human beings.
Yeah, for sure, and I agree with that. I interviewed, like I said, your teammate Mikey Milne, and that's a big piece of getting drafted is being a good person off the ice. So, could you just talk about where you're from in Canada? I think for me, I know a lot about the Quebec hockey culture because my family's from there, and I've interviewed a lot of people from Toronto. Could you just describe where you're from?
I'm from Chilliwack, BC, which is probably I want to say like roughly an hour away from Vancouver. It's a smaller city, but it's a hockey city. They got the junior A team, Chilliwack Chiefs, that play in the BCHL. So there's lots of hockey happening around here in the summer. But yeah, it's like I would say an hour away from Vancouver.
Yeah, and were there any teams that you looked up to growing up? I mean, I assume the Vancouver Canucks were there any players specifically as well?
To be honest, I'm a huge Oilers fan.
I
My
respect.
dad my dad grew up out in Grand Prairie, so he kind of got me on that wagon, cheering for the Oilers. But growing up, I liked a lot of players. Kind of my age was kind of when Jordan Everly just got drafted, and Taylor Hall, Nugent Hopkins. So all those guys I kind of looked up to growing up, and then obviously now with McDavid, Draisaitl, um, Hyman, all those guys are elite players.
Yeah, it's a great team to root for. They definitely just had a great season going to the Western Conference Finals. And who doesn't want to root for Connor McDavid, no matter where you're from? So,
Yeah, exactly.
could you just talk about where you were with hockey before you got to Winnipeg and what that experience was like?
Yeah, I played my Bantam season. I played for the Yale Hockey Academy. It was an awesome experience. I played there 2 years. Obviously, got drafted out of there to the Winnipeg Ice, and then I moved on. The next year, it was kind of the COVID season, so I got to play 7 games for the Fraser Valley Thunderbirds. It's a U18 AAA program. Down here in BC, and that experience was awesome too. The coach Peter Hay and Mike Garrett's were phenomenal. Peter Hay coached in the Western League, so he kind of knew what it took to take the next jump, and I think he prepared me very well for it.
Yeah, and you mentioned the COVID season. I mean, I'm sure your teammates that just got drafted can attest. These are really the biggest years of your hockey career in terms of just scouts noticing you. How hard was it to play hockey just during this time and trying to find ways just to get better?
Yeah, it was obviously difficult. It was hard to find ice and stuff like that, but you got to do what it takes, and whether that's making a gym in your garage or going on runs or shooting pucks, just stuff like that. The little things, they go a long way, and yeah, so it definitely was difficult. But when they kind of lifted restrictions, it made it very nice. Got to go play with the Thunderbirds there in practice, so it was definitely great after they lifted the restrictions.
Yeah, and like I said, you had a great season this year with Winnipeg. Uh, After an impressive first stint with 20 points in 24 games, but what is just the key to improving in such a tough competitive league like that, where so many guys are getting drafted, and obviously having the right path to make to the NHL as well?
Yeah, having great coaching staff helps a ton. James Patrick, Josh Green, they've helped me a ton in my development, and they kind of give me tips on what to improve on going into the summer, and just keep working hard in the summer. I think that goes a long way. I always hear back in the day there's never ice in the summer, but now it's kind of just a written rule. You have to go hard in the summer if you want to be an elite hockey player.
Definitely couldn't agree more, especially in that type of league. So, you saw a few of your teammates get drafted. Was there anything that you picked up upon? You're going into your year now. I know it's, pretty much a year from now, but is there anything that they shared with you in terms of the process? You're in the same spot. When I interviewed Logan Stankoven a few years ago, he watched his teammates Dylan Garand and Connor Zary get drafted before him a year, and it seemed like it helped him out. Did you learn anything from those guys?
Yeah, I've learned quite a bit. Geeks and Sav were obviously under the spotlight, 2 first-round picks, and they were projected, to go where they went the whole season. So they're definitely under the spotlight. They did a very good job of kind of keeping it out of the room. But you definitely take some tips from them. Little interview stuffs and the little things that they do to kind of avoid certain things and do the right things. So I've definitely learned quite a bit from them. But like I said, they did a great job of kind of keeping it to themselves and not bringing it into the room too much.
Yeah, and that is the way to do it. Just make sure it doesn't affect the team, and while you're still taking care of your own, draft responsibilities. So, obviously with those guys going in the first round, there is that chance that they, could make their NHL roster this year. I mean, that's what happens with first round picks. That. Are you ready to, take on the load of, stepping up and, filling that gap if some of those guys aren't on the team this year?
Yeah, obviously Sav and Geeks have a good shot of making the NHL roster. I played with them last year, and they got ridiculous skill, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if they ended up sticking. But yeah, I'm ready to take on the load. I'm looking forward to this season. I think we got a great team. Not knowing who's really there, but if the Geeks and Sav come back, it'd be a pretty special team, and I think we could do a lot of damage down the run there.
Yeah, definitely should be an exciting year. So, like you said, it seems like you went home during the off season. Obviously didn't stick around in Winnipeg. Do a lot of you guys really stay in contact? When I played sports in high school, the only reason why we did stay in contact is because we were all living in the same town in high school. But how does that work for you guys? I mean, how do you guys really stay on top of each other?
Yeah, we have a team group chat, so we like to stay connected, and we're always wondering what our teammates are doing. So a lot of us text, if not everyone, just little things like how was your day or how's it going, and just kind of stay connected. That team was the tightest team I've ever been on. Everyone on that team is best friends. So personally, I've probably talked to every guy this summer, and everyone's doing well. So it's awesome so far.
Definitely, that those are the teams you kind of for sure want to be on. So just in terms of next year's draft, I know it's hard to ignore the noise and focus on the season, but it is your draft year. I know that the last draft just happened this past week, but does it feel a little bit different, this week, especially starting next week, that it really is your draft year now?
Yes and no. I think obviously everyone knows it's a big year for everyone that's draft eligible, but you got to just keep doing your thing. You can't worry about it. If you do the right things, you're going to get noticed. So my goal is just to keep working hard and keep improving my skill.
Yeah, it's definitely the right mindset, and you should have a great season with the Winnipeg Ice. Looking forward to seeing what happens. Zach, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and we'll stay in touch over this next year.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
All right, have a good one.